Number second. 9.2. So everybody got to Bhagavad Gita. Everybody got 9.2? Huh? Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pratyakshavagam Dharmyam
Pratyaksham
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Rajavidya Rajaguhyam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pavitram Idam Uttamam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Pratyakshaavagamam Dharmyam
Susukham Kartum Avyayam
Susukham Kartumavyayam
Rajavidya,
Rajavidya,
the king of education.
the king of education.
Rajaguhyam,
Rajaguhyam,
the king of confidential knowledge.
the king of confidential knowledge.
Pavitram,
Pavitram,
the purest.
the purest.
Idam,
Idam,
this.
this.
Uttamam,
Uttamam,
transcendental.
transcendental.
Pratyaksha,
Pratyaksha,
directly experienced.
direct experience.
Avagamam,
Avagamam,
understood.
understood.
Dharmyam,
Dharmyam,
the principle of religion.
the principle of religion.
Susukham,
Susukham,
very happy.
very happy.
Kartum,
Karto,
to execute.
to execute.
Avayam,
Avayam,
everlasting.
everlasting.
Translation purport by Srila Bhajanarinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki.
Jai.
This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion, it is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Kindly repeat. This knowledge
This knowledge
is the king of education,
is the king of education,
the most secret
the most secret
of all secrets.
of all secrets.
It is the purest knowledge,
It is the purest knowledge,
and
and
because
because
it gives direct perception
it gives direct perception
of the self
of the self
by realization.
by realization.
It is the perfection of religion.
It is the perfection of religion.
It is everlasting,
It is everlasting,
and it is joyfully performed.
and it is joyfully performed.
Purport. We will read only little purport because it is 3-page purport Prabhupada has written. And this is also, Prabhupada has written a book on this verse. He has written Raj Vidya, one book. Okay. So this is a very important verse in the Bhagavad Gita. So we'll read, maybe I'll read little bit, then we'll discuss. And we have only 10, 20, 25, 30 minutes we have maximum. Then we will discuss about Janmashtami. Purport. This chapter of Bhagavad Gita is called the King of Education because it is the essence of all doctrine and philosophies explained before. There are 7 principal philosophers in India: Gautama, Kannada, Kapila, Yajna, Valkya, Sandhya, Vaishwanara, and finally Vyasadeva, the authors of the Vedanta Sutra. So there is no dearth of knowledge in the field of philosophy or transcendental knowledge. Now the Lord says that this 9th chapter is the king of all such knowledge, the essence of all knowledge that can be derived from the study of the Vedas. And different kind of philosophy, it is the most confidential because confidential or transcendental knowledge involves understanding the difference between the soul and the body. And the king of all confidential knowledge culminates in devotional service. Generally, people are not educated in this confidential knowledge. They are educated in external knowledge as far as ordinary education is concerned. People are involved with so many departments: politics, sociology, physics, chemistry, mathematics, astronomy, engineering, etc. There are so many departments of knowledge all over the world and many huge universities, but there is unfortunately no university or educational institution where the science of spirit soul is instructed. Yet the soul is the most important part of this body. Without the presence of the soul, the body has no value. Still, people are placing great stress on the bodily necessities of life, not caring for the vital soul. The Bhagavad Gita, especially from the 2nd chapter on, stress the importance of the soul. In the very beginning, the Lord says that this body is perishable and that the soul is not perishable. That is a confidential part of knowledge, simply knowing that spirit, soul, is different from this body and that it is nature, its nature is immutable, indestructible and eternal. But that gives no positive information about the soul. Sometimes people are under the impression that the soul is different from the body and that when the body is finished or one is liberated from the body, the soul remains in void and became impersonal. But actually that is not the fact. How can the soul, which is so active within this body, be inactive after being liberated from the body? It is always active. If it is eternal, then it is eternally active. And its activities in the spiritual kingdom are the most confidential part of spiritual knowledge. These activities of spirit soul are therefore indicated here as the constituting the king of all knowledge, the most confidential part of all knowledge. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prushtaya Bhutale Srimati Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Charani Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshur Unmritam Jen Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhisham Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sriyam Rupa Kadamiyam Tadati Supanani Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijan Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Bhaktan Shri He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpati Bhupesa Bhupiyatan Radhakan Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Subhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Vansha Kalpatarubhyasya Sindhu Devisya Patitanam Pavaniya Vaishnavi Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So, Rajavidya Rajaguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratakya Bhagamam Dharmyam Susukham Kartamate. This is a very important verse in this Bhagavad Gita. What is the knowledge? Most of the time, we gather the knowledge by different sources through our sensual perception. When we get this knowledge through sensual perception, because our senses are not perfect, that's why our receiving knowledge also not perfect. Because if the senses are perfect, you act what you think. Most of the time, we cannot act what we think. That is why there are very beautiful stories. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say. He said that one boy, he came out and saw beautiful moon, stars, everything. Then he cried in front of his father, parents, kindly bring this moon and star for me. So this parents, they came, bring out to him if they saw. You see, they cannot be plucked like a flower you pluck or fruits. You cannot pluck it and bring it here. It can be there only. You should see and enjoy from here. You should not think that. So this boy told, you are making me fool or what? I can bring it. What? This boy told, I can bring. So his father and mother, they told, okay, you go and bring. And he called, he tried many times, he went upstairs and tried to put a big the staircase, but all things he failed. At last he became disgusted. Then disgusted, he came back and started spitting on the moon because they are not coming. He started throwing spitting on the moon. So how the spitting fell? So it fell on his own face. Exactly. Similarly, we gather little knowledge. With this knowledge, we try to live in this material world. That is what we are putting, we are spitting on our own face with this type of knowledge. So what is the real knowledge? Real knowledge in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, very beautifully explained by Sanatana Goswami. During 500 years back, Bengal was under the king of Nawab Hussain Shah, one Muslim king, and in that under that king Nawab Hussain Shah, there were two finance ministers. His name was, what is the name of two finance ministers? Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. They both are two brothers. They were the two Brahmin brothers, but they were working for Muslim king. That's why the name changed to Dabir Khas and Sakar Malik. And when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Jagannath Puri, he was coming to Vrindavan, he came to a place called Ram Keli. Okay, in the Ram Keli is a place near Malda in West Bengal. So Malda आम खाते हो ना, तो बड़ा so Malda के पास. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came up to there and he met Sanatan and Rupa. And from when they saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they wanted to quit the job of finance minister. And when they started, they want to quit the job. That time, Sakar Malik, name is Sanatana Goswami, later became, and Sakar and Dabir Khas became the Rupa Goswami. So Sanatana Goswami accepted, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted Sanatana Goswami as the first disciple. And they want to leave that job, and when Rupa Goswami initially he left the job, then when Nawab Hussain Shah thought that, then Sanatana Goswami took a long leave for 1 month. And in that 1 month, he told that I am sick. So what the king, that time he sent a doctor. But at that time, Sanatana Goswami was putting around 30 people. They are reading Bhagavatam and he is sitting and hearing. So the doctor told to the king that Sanatana is not actually, his health is good, but he has taken the leave on the name of medical leave. So he put him into jail. And that time Sanatana Goswami is thinking that how to leave this place. Anyway, there are big stories. Then Sanatana Goswami left and came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he came to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, first thing he said, Gramya Bhashaye, means in the village people call me as a Pandit, but I am a fool number one. Kindly explain me what is knowledge, what is Gyan, what is education, he first asked. Then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, you are a great Sanskrit scholar, you know Parsi also. That time, like when English people came, the national language was English. And when this Parsi, people they came to invade India, that time the national language was Persian. So you know Parsi, you know Sanskrit, such a great scholar, then how you are a fool? He is telling that I am a fool number one. So he is telling how you are a fool. Then he told, because I do not know who am I. Why I came here? What is the purpose of my taking birth in this? And those are although he is a very big scholar, this is what Srila Prabhupada is explaining here. There are many doctrines. If you see, we have there also one chart. that Bhagavatam gives all kind of knowledge. And these 7 sages, the Gautama, Kannada, Kapila, Yajnavalkya up to Vyasadeva, everybody they have written their own doctrine based on their realization. But those are not very important actually. And what is the important? The important is that who has given the doctrine about the Supreme Lord. That is the main. People write many theses, but the ultimate thesis is the doctrine of this knowledge, the king of all knowledge. That's why the Vyasadeva is the biggest professor, because in his end of his life he wrote the Srimad Bhagavatam. That is why when Vyasadeva wrote all this Vedic literature, starting from all Puran, Upanishad, then Veda, he divided into 4 parts. Initially there was only one Veda, he divided. And after that, he was very morose actually. If we write a paper, people say, oh, I have written a big paper. And Vyasadeva has given so much doctrine, so many theses. And Bhagavatam, 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita, 700, Mahabharata, around 30,000 verses in Mahabharata. So all these big doctrine he has given, still he is unhappy. And when his spiritual master Narad came, my dear Lord, I have written many things, but now I am not satisfied in my heart. And then Narada instructed, because whatever you have written, that is not Raj Vidya, that is simple Vidya for obtaining food and bread and butter for your life. That Vidya will never give you the real knowledge. And then when he came, that time it was, that's why when Srila Prabhupada in 1968 gave a lecture in MIT in USA, and there were around 3,000 professors and students. And Prabhupada's first question was, my dear professors, there are many departments of science in your big universities. Is there any department of science where you teach what happened after death? All these professors there, and nobody has any answer. And Srila Prabhupada is such a great scholar. So Srila Prabhupada has told here that there are in our education, there are many education systems, starting from philosophy to engineering. And all these huge universities, we think that engineering Y is equal to mx plus c actually will not work in our real life. Real life problem is different than our this educational system. That is why we should not reject anything. Rather, we must understand both side by side. What today we are more dependent on what we learn in college and schools. And no college, especially in India, it becomes especially in India, we removed the spirituality from our curriculum also. Why? In just 10 years back, you see, all curriculum were designed and so-called secularity brings. It is not. These are the rules and regulations, like gravitational force. That law everybody learned without thinking. This is also laws. This is not a religious book, but most of the time we think it is a religious book, so we should not. And when we became educated, we became more. That is why here and there is no education, yet the soul is the most important part of our body. Because if we don't understand who we are, and we will whole life we take care of this body, then we never take care of the soul. And the soul is an important factor in our entire body. Even today you have this body, beautiful body, if soul never is not there, then this body has no value. And for this maintaining of this body, so much exploitation are going on. Because of you exploit for the bodily necessities of life, that is why we never satisfied. Because body is temporary, and every time, every 3 years, the entire body structure changes. And when it changes, you require new kind of environment, new kind of requirement. That's why always we are unsatisfied to satisfy the body. And that is why here in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter is given that the body is perishable, but the soul is eternal. Like from the boyhood, you change many times. Now you are 20 years, 18 years. 18 years means 3 years, completely your cell structure, everything changes according to medical science. So how many times you have died already? If you are 18 years, divided by 3. 6 times you have already died. So similarly, at the time of death, also, we should not lament for this body. This body is temporary, and we should not try to maintain this body as much as so many people we exploit many ways, that for me and mine and mine and mine. And that is why in this whole world there is a chaotic condition. If everybody will think that I will never die, because the soul never dies. Even the soul in a small boy, kids are playing. You go, they have so much energy. Even parents, they cannot catch them. They move here and there, there and there. So their mind is acting 24 hours. As soon as they get up, they start all nonsense actually. You see? And parents are running behind them too, just to control them. A small particle of soul is so active in a small boy's body. And do you think that after we leave this body, it will be inert? It will never be inert. It will be again active in different body according to our karma in this life. So there is nothing that the soul never, we have already received. And how we know that we have many times we have received this soul? Because for eating, mating, sleeping, defending, no education institute teaches how to eat. That is why that is the impression on your mind. As soon as you see eating thing, put in mouth. This is the basic. And then when this knowledge is there, then always this, it is the most eternal. When you think that I am eternal, you will never fear. Even if somebody will kill, like Lord Jesus Christ, people are crucifying, he was laughing. Why? He knows that he is not this body. The people are killing the body. That is why in this verse it says that Rajavidya means king of all knowledge, and Rajaguhyam, it is most confidential. How it is confidential? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made this confidential thing very easy. How he made this easy? Because Jar dekho tar kaho Krishna Upadesh. What? He say, whoever you see, you speak about Krishna. And second thing, Gruhe thako, bane thako, sada hari hari dako. These are the two principles. Whether you are a sannyasi, whether you are a grihastha, doesn't matter. Whether you are a student, whether you are a king, Gruhe thako, bane thako, sada hari hari dako. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. By just simply chanting this Mahamantra, this Raj Guhya became open. It is not confidential. That is why when Rupa Goswami saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he said, Namo Mahabodhanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namni Gaura Tuse Nama. That's why he said, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are Mahabodhanyaya. You have given direct Krishna Prema to others. You go to any religious practice, you will see this is commandment. This is these rules, regulations. Whereas in this Bhagavad Dharma, there is no commandment. There is a prem between devotee and Lord. There is no other thing. The prem, that prem which is susukham, kartumabhayam. It is always ever blissful. Like in this Janmashtami, everybody, you see in Krishna consciousness, every day we have Kirtan, we have Bhagavatam, we have Prasadam. At least one, there is a service, somebody is reading books, somebody is doing Kirtan. So there are so many varieties of the component. Each person can, at least everybody will release good Prasadam. Yes or no? That is why it is susukham, kartumabhayam. It is never ending. This sukha will never ending. Like Srila Prabhupada was in the USA. That time he was staying with Dr. Mishra Sahib. And he was very new to that place. And Srila Prabhupada was asked by one journalist that you are telling Krishna, Krishna, Krishna everyone. And at the end of your life you saw that there is no Krishna. So what will happen? Srila Prabhupada told that even though there is no Krishna, at least we are very, we whole life we chanted, danced and eaten nice prasadam. At least we enjoyed our life. So this is what, even this Krishna consciousness is always like a Pavitram idam uttamam. It is always transcendental and it is purest because there is no me and mine. This is the